Hi again. Today this is another tutorial about Weaver and how to use it. Today I want to show you how to run a meeting, how to track time on the various agenda items of a meeting, and how to take notes. There's some new capabilities there, and it's worth taking a look at this video to understand how to use these things effectively. Alright, so I've set up a typical meeting here. Nothing fancy. It's set to go. I've invited people to it, and I've set up an agenda here of all of the items that we're going to cover in this fictitious group, which is doing facilities maintenance. But you can see the agenda here and work through it. Now, we haven't started the meeting yet. Generally, we're in draft now. We would put it in the plan meeting state, and this is where everybody else will be able to see it. And for all the time between when you initially set up the meeting up to when the meeting's coming, this is where notices will be sent out. This is where people can record whether they're going to be attending the meeting or not. When it comes around time to actually running the meeting, you put the meeting in run mode. Now, this is a manual operation. It doesn't happen automatically because you may have scheduled it for a particular time, but you'll actually do this when you start the meeting. Now, it's not yet recording anything. Now, the recording is up to you. One person, or it could be multiple people from the group, will be designated as the notes taker. So we get down to here and we have the opening round. Now what you'll see is that when you put the meeting in run mode, these indicators appear here to say how much time has elapsed, and they're all set to 0 at this point in time. So if I were to call the meeting to order, I would then click this little button here, and all this is doing is it's timing how much time you spend on this, and it's giving you an indicator. You planned 5 minutes on this, so it's showing you how much time you have left. So in the opening round, we normally go around everybody, ask them their status and what's up, and this helps them feel part of the meeting, and it makes sure that important things can be brought up at the front and that everybody has a chance to do so. Now, if you're taking notes for the meeting, what you do is go to the options and say edit minutes. Now the way this is designed opens in a different window, so the whole idea here is that we would probably tear this off and set it up in a side-by-side display here, and this is a very simplified display just for entering minutes, and this can be edited by multiple people at once, so if different people add things in. So let me just put some things in here. Now the thing about entering information here is if you want them to be separate paragraphs, you're entering in markup or markdown, if you're familiar with that. If you want this to be separate paragraphs, you need to put a blank line between them, and that way they'll come out as separate paragraphs. Now you can actually see those if you open this up and you look at the meeting. You'll actually see the minutes being displayed here. If you want these to be bullet points, you put little asterisks in front of them like that. Now you'll see as I make a change, every time I make a change, you'll see a save button appear here. It'll appear for a moment and then it'll disappear, and the reason it disappears is because it's automatically saved it. So it's constantly automatically saving these. You don't have to worry about them too much on that. So I put those bullets in here. I do have to refresh the page over here to see those changes, and I'll see that I've got bullet points there. But I think the idea is that for meeting minutes, we're not going to do a lot of styling of them. Generally the meeting's going pretty quick, and the whole point about this phase of the meeting is just to capture it. So if we go into here, we can say, you know, something like that. And again, these are being automatically saved as we go along. You'll notice that in this panel here, there I have a spelling mistake here. I can't change that. I can't do any of that. But what I can do is that when we do get to this part of the meeting, I can now flip the timer to here, and it'll start timing this part of the meeting. That can be done both in the meeting display and in the minutes editor display. So we in the meeting display, that's where you would add all of your that's where you would manipulate the meeting in all of the normal ways. So I don't know if I have any action items to add to this. I don't. I could create one, and we can assign it to somebody. So we're working with the meeting metadata here, but and all of the settings, if I want to change the status, I'll do that in the meeting display, but I can keep the minutes going over here at the same time on the side. So when I start the next one, and you know, just to demonstrate this, if someone else in the group was motivated, and you want to run this meeting this way, you can have two of these up at once, and I'll just demonstrate this. I'll just type in a change here, and you'll notice how to more or less immediately. It's 5 to 10 seconds delay before it gets over there. So oh, I should have that in a position where you can see it, but have multiple people taking notes, and this is very helpful sometimes because taking the notes can be a kind of an overwhelming task. You're trying to keep up. If you're trying to participate in the documentation, sometimes it's nice to have someone take over the role of taking the meeting notes. Now, if you decide, now this is recording how much time has elapsed. So we spent about 3 minutes on the opening round there, and that's just recorded there. And if you go past the 3 minutes, this color will turn red. If you decide to stop the meeting for some reason and you don't want to keep on recording time, there is a stop button down at the bottom, and you can hit that, and that will stop all the timers. So that, and you can restart that again. I'll just put a few other notes in here. Looks okay. No, we don't need this at that time. Now obviously there would be much more of a discussion in a real meeting, but I'll just do that, and I'm just putting that in there so that we have an example. Okay, so you keep going, and at any point in time, of course, you can close this and reopen it again if you wish. Now when the meeting is done, we complete the meeting, and now we have the option to generate the minutes. Now when we generate the minutes, it's going to take all those notes that we had and put them in there. So here we'll see the basic outline here, and here you have the different minutes that I entered in. Now the reason it generates it this way is so that you can go back and edit the topic, because a lot of times this automatically generated view is a little limited. So maybe you do or you don't want to have these in there. You can simplify it a little bit. You can correct some spelling. Well, that's all just junk, so we'll just delete that. And maybe you can add in some information. So this is done after the meeting is done in order to make sure that the minutes are actually completely up to date. And when you're done with everything, you then post the topic, and that will then cause the minutes to be sent to everybody. Or if we go back to that meeting, we'll see now that the minutes have been posted. So that's it. So what I've gone through is how to run a basic meeting, how to track the time on the different agenda items. You can start the timer and it records that automatically and keeps track of it. And finally, how to take notes while the meeting is going on the various agenda items, and how that can be done by multiple people at the same time. It's automatically saving it and synchronizing it so that you can get as accurate notes as possible, and when you're done, you have a good record of the meeting. Thanks.